only has she destroyed hundreds of millions of dollars worth of IP for Disney, but she also has destroyed her career and the careers of anybody who worked on the movie.
In a move aimed at realigning its live-action fairy tale strategy, Disney has just revealed that Margot Robbie will headline an all-new adaptation of Cinderella. The surprise announcement comes on the heels of the studio's much-publicized missteps with Snow White. Cinderella, one of the company's marquee princesses, could represent a make-or-break moment in terms of evaluating whether large-scale reboots can still be profitable. A successful run would help quell investor unease, while a misstep could spur deeper questions about the sustainability of recycling Disney's animated library. Margot Robbie's presence alone, though compelling, won't guarantee success. The entire production must spark the kind of communal excitement that once accompanied live-action retellings like Beauty and the Beast. Nevertheless, early chatter in Hollywood suggests cautious optimism that Robbie's star power and the unassailable heritage of Cinderella will combine to pull in wide audiences. It also highlights the broader implications and underlines key points that resonate with how this issue impacts stakeholders and the audience alike, confirming that corporate strategies and creative ambition must align if the remake is to triumph. Interestingly, the announcement arrives just weeks after Disney's CEO publicly acknowledged major learning experiences gleaned from the Snow White mess.
Does this now mean that she is now a Disney princess?
One tweet declared, reflecting a broader sentiment of cautious optimism.
You know, I think it's really on her to go back and correct the record now, because she was spreading a lot of fear and disinformation.
Yet, a vocal minority remains unconvinced, voicing concerns that Disney will simply repeat the same marketing miscalculations that doomed Snow White. Cinderella is the easiest fairy tale to adapt. Don't fix what isn't broken, cautioned a longtime Disney blogger. This tug of war among enthusiastic supporters and wary skeptics underscores the complexity of launching another big-budget remake in a post-Snow White landscape.
And also, what is beautiful about the original Snow White too is the hand-drawn animation, right? Is the beauty of the cartoon. Yeah, and it's really, there's an authenticity to it.
It also highlights the broader implications and underlines key points that resonate with how this issue impacts stakeholders and the audience alike, underscoring that emotional attachments to fairy tales can quickly turn combative if fan expectations are not carefully met. As for the creative team, Disney remains tight-lipped about who will direct or pen the screenplay.
Do these orgies of CGI animation, recycling in a loveless format, the exact same, now every story is the same story about, again, a kick-ass female protagonist.
Insiders suggest that the studio is evaluating multiple proven talents who have demonstrated flair for whimsical storytelling, comedic timing, and heartfelt drama. Qualities essential for a Cinderella saga that must captivate both older fans and younger viewers. Some rumors suggest Disney might seek out a director with musical theater credentials, hoping to recapture the spirit of the original animated classic while injecting fresh theatrical dynamism.
I love what you said about wanting to entertain audiences, critics saying Disney's too woke, but you're just putting out storytelling.
We are. Look, I don't really like the term woke because I think it's an umbrella term that I'm not 100% sure I even know what it means.
Another rumor points to the possibility of a behind-the-scenes fairy tale council within Disney, consisting of legacy animators, script doctors, and franchise guardians, whose collective job is to ensure that the modern approach never dilutes the iconic essence of these stories. While unconfirmed, this speculation aligns with the sense that after Snow White, every facet of the production will be scrutinized at the highest levels.
Rachel Zegler's travel expenses for singing overseas when it came to different countries besides the United States. This really is an overspending spree by Disney CEO Bob Iger.
It also highlights the broader implications and underlines key points that resonate with how this issue impacts stakeholders and the audience alike. If it falters, cynicism over the company's creative direction could deepen significantly. It also highlights the broader implications and underlines key points that resonate with how this issue impacts stakeholders and the audience alike, spotlighting the cyclical nature of brand revitalization and the fine line between success and backlash in legacy-driven entertainment. From a market perspective, Disney's share price showed a slight uptick upon the announcement, an indication that investors view Robbie's casting as a shrewd move, capable of reversing negative trends tied to the Snow White aftermath. Analysts caution, however, that any sustained momentum will hinge on strong trailer reception, advanced ticket sales, and, crucially, positive word of mouth when the film eventually debuts. In a hyper-connected social media environment, buzz can pivot rapidly depending on early screening reactions and influencer commentary. The studio's challenge is to ensure Cinderella's marketing campaign maintains a harmonious tone, championing a beloved story's timeless allure without ignoring the evolving cultural standards that shape audience perceptions. It also highlights the broader implications and underlines key points that resonate with how this issue impacts stakeholders and the audience alike, illustrating the razor-thin margin of error for big-budget fantasies in a marketplace saturated with competing cinematic universes. Looking ahead, Disney's Cinderella starring Margot Robbie will stand as a kind of referendum on how well the studio can adapt its iconic princess tales in a new era, particularly in the wake of very public lessons learned from Snow White. The outcome could either mark a triumphant reboot that reestablishes Disney's mastery of fairy tale magic, or serve as another cautionary tale about the perils of tampering with nostalgia. Robbie's star power, combined with a presumably refined creative approach, forms the backbone of the studio's bet that audiences still yearn for the enduring romance and uplifting spirit that made Cinderella a cultural mainstay. Whether that wager pays off remains anyone's guess, but one thing is certain: all eyes will be on Disney as it tries, once again, to conjure a happily ever after from a story as old as time. It also highlights the broader implications and underlines key points that resonate with how this issue impacts stakeholders and the audience alike, showcasing that even the most magical brands can find themselves navigating treacherous waters in their quest to enchant modern viewers, showing a possible change in how major studios assemble creative oversight for legacy properties. Financially, the stakes remain sky high. Following the suboptimal performance of Snow White and other tepidly received remakes, Disney shareholders are paying close attention to box office returns and brand perception.
So it was definitely when it got announced.
White! He wasn't a stalker, by the way.
Thing that was like trending on Twitter for days because all of the people were angry, and so it was like
Those people.
very much this. Yes.
Evie Magazine wrote on X, when you compare how Rachel Ziegler spoke about Snow White to how other actresses who played live-action Disney princesses spoke about their character, really underlines just how poorly she carried herself.
Disney hopes to restore audience confidence and reassert its dominance in the realm of timeless fairy tale adaptations. This decision also highlights the broader implications and underlines key points that resonate with how this issue impacts stakeholders and the audience alike, showcasing Disney's determination to forge ahead with cherished properties despite recent turbulence. Rumors of a new Cinderella had circulated for months, though few expected the announcement so soon after the Snow White fiasco.